I'm John Hanna, right here on our Wall Street office at 110 Wall Street with Stephen van der Velden, the CEO of Elephant Talk. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Thanks, John, for being here.
Now, sir, you flew in from the Netherlands, did you?
Well, actually, I flew in this week from Mexico, but beforehand I was in Europe, that's right.
You're a globetrotter.
Well, our business is around the globe, and we try to service mobile operators, virtual operators, as well as banks around the world. And ultimately, we have to go after them because they won't come to us necessarily.
Okay. Tell us about Elephant Talk.
Elephant Talk is basically a big mobile platform that helps mobile operators as well as virtual operators to really use all the power of the mobile networks to make sure that everything that can be done into the market through mobile networks is done in an optimum fashion. And actually we help a lot of companies thereby going into the cloud. So basically open up the cloud for all kind of non-telecom companies that do not want to invest in all kind of technological knowledge to run complicated back office systems, but basically want to outsource this to a specialist party, being Elephant Talk. And in that respect we try to accumulate contracts around the world with mobile network operators that do give us access to their networks so that we can bundle our managed services, basically the complete mobile environment that we host on behalf of our virtual operators, together with airtime that we purchase on wholesale from the mobile operators, and bundle this together to make our virtual operators let's say in a position that they can sincerely go after the markets they like to go after.
Okay, when you say virtual operators, is this one of those operators where they would provide one of those unlimited minutes or something like that?
Could be, but actually that's kind of the old-fashioned way to do it. Mostly nowadays what you will see is that banks, insurance companies, supermarkets, governments all want to basically use the mobile network. Not so much to make phone calls, but much more to get in touch and get a direct relationship with their customer base. And it's a perfect individualized tool to have a one-on-one relationship between you as a company and all the consumers out there. And we believe that as a lot of transactions are more and more happening into the virtual space, into the cloud, companies could be extremely well positioned if they use the power of mobile networks to build a better bridge towards all their customers.
Okay, so this is pretty much on your telecommunication side. I know that you have another side to your business.
Correct.
Tell us about it.
Yes, that's of course Velden. It's one thing to manage the cloud and to give a lot of non-technical companies access to the cloud, but at some moment you should watch out that you do not give too much access. Because of course everywhere where there is access there is also fraud, there is misuse and so forth. So we felt that a company like Velden that very well complements our managing the cloud with them securing the cloud helps our companies, helps our customers to make sure that whoever comes onto their networks is really the customer they think is there. So it's a matter of authentication. The customer, it's a matter of verification transactions, and Velden has created a couple of very intriguing tools using out-of-band technology, so basically another network to check what's happening in this network. And of course they choose for mobile telephony because it's everywhere around. Most of the people nowadays do have a mobile phone. Everybody understands how it works. So without having to invest in any tokens, in any pieces of hardware, any pieces of software, you can immediately use the mobile network to verify and authenticate all kind of actions that happen in that cloud. So you could basically say that Elephant Talk is managing access to the cloud, and Velden is managing the security that needs to go hand in hand with that.
Nice. So you actually, like you said, hand in hand. Now, with regards to, well, here's the technology that I've always been intrigued about your company is the ability to do, what was it, permission-based, location-based, or what was it?
Well, it's basically what Velden is doing is they try to correlate the location of what a transaction or where a transaction takes place with the location where the handset of the owner of that card is at that present. And it's kind of an anonymous correlation between the two. And in as much as we do not want to know where you are, we mostly want to know where you're not. Because if your card is used in Amsterdam, but we see that your mobile phone is in New York, most probably it's a non-genuine transaction. However, if at the same time it appears that a transaction takes place in New York, and indeed the mobile phone is in the same location, it's a likely genuine transaction. And we can give this information in a split second to the bank, so that within their normal authorization process, they can in real time make sure that they can deviate the fraud from the genuine transactions. And from a customer's point of view, it's an extremely enhanced tool. If you have your mobile phone on you, you're almost 100% sure to never ever get a declined transaction while it's you. And I think this is one of the biggest problems in the financial services industry, costing hundreds of billions of dollars a year. And we believe that through ValidSoft and the ET platform making that all possible, we have a very neat solution for this financial services industry.
And just wanted to make sure, you guys have the patent for this one?
Yes, definitely. ValidSoft has the patents on ValID, which is basically the more card non-present and the internet banking side of the applications, as well as the Valid POS, which is more the card present application, if you go to a point of sale or to an ATM. And ValidSoft is able to cover both type of transactions.
Okay, so something like that, so you have that locked down now. The other thing that I was thinking of is that you have these two products now. Is there any other products that you have within your company?
No, but these two products, I mean, from a ValidSoft side, are really global products. And actually, I'm very proud to be able to announce that Visa in Europe has now concluded a contract with us to include the ValidSoft applications into their normal authentication processes. And the next few months we will see that we can integrate the ValidSoft services in their normal risk management engines. And then after that period of time, Visa will be able to market that service to their 4,000 member banks in Europe. And that's a really breakthrough and a huge step for ValidSoft, and a real proof, after a long, long due diligence, that the services that have been patented and are operated by ValidSoft in cooperation with Elephant Talk really brings added value to the financial services market.
Okay, so now that you have that contract with Europe, last time I spoke to you was that you had a contract with a local telephone company in, where is this now?
Yeah, in Spain, we have with Vodafone in Spain, we have T-Mobile in the Netherlands. We concluded a contract with KPN in Belgium. Currently, we are negotiating with about a dozen of the largest mobile operators around the world. As I said, I just came in from Mexico. We are regularly visiting countries like Brazil, countries like Colombia, Uruguay, the Dutch Antilles, the Caribbean, but of course also many countries in Europe as well as in the Middle East, because we believe the solutions that Elephant Talk can bring to both the mobile network operators as well as the virtual operators are needed everywhere. I mean, all these operators are now legacy system operators. They basically used to have a very neat back office, but over the years it grew into a legacy system, and we can really help them out to improve the service levels while at the same time dramatically reducing their cost base. And we believe in this time frame, all these mobile operators are just looking for that. So we really are in serious negotiations with many of these operators around the world. And as we have indicated earlier, we expect to work with at least 5 mobile operators next year. And given the fact that Belgium now is country number 3, we hope to finalize within the next few months country number 4. So I think it's quite a sure bet to be able to announce country number 5 in the course of 2011.
Okay, so somehow it sounded like your corporate engine is humming along, because you now have all of these contracts in place with the telcos, and then you now have the contract in place for Visa Europe.
For example, yeah.
Yeah, so that's on going to both sides of your businesses. Now, where do you see revenues coming in from where we are right now?
Well, for example, Visa, as I explained, we will now for the next 3 to 6 months go through an integration process, installing all the applications ValidSoft has within the environment of Visa so that they can directly market it to their member banks. Personally, I wouldn't count on large revenues within the next 6 months. I mean, as we said, we have to install, we have to test, we have to make sure everything is documented properly. So I would expect only maybe in 6 to 9 months the first substantial revenues to come in. Visa has indicated to us that they will have a couple of banks that they will start trials with. Those are already very sizable banks, and we believe those trials as such would already be a very sincere booster of revenues for Elephant Talk, but ultimately it's only 3 of their 4,000 membership banks. And the good thing for ValidSoft and Elephant Talk is that now we've gone once through the cycle with Visa, we do the installation with Visa, and then all of a sudden, instantly, we are able to reach 4,000 banks. And that brings us an economies of scale that is undreamed of. So we believe that once it will take off, and once the results in real time will be the same as they were in all the pilots so far, will be good, I think many of the banks will be convinced easily by Visa to take on this application as well to sincerely reduce their fraud levels.
Okay, so with all of this integration, are you looking at the fees as a royalty fee or something like that, or just?
Well, it's actually an ongoing managed service, so we will charge per transaction a small fee that we will share with the mobile operators, and it's an ongoing managed service through the Elephant Talk mobile delivery platform. So it's not just a license, it's really a full service, including the full escalation in case fraud or any anomaly takes place into the network. So we really help the bank not only to track fraud, but also to solve it down the road and make sure that the false positives, so where a card transaction is declined, well, it's still a genuine transaction, but for whatever reason the bank thinks it's not a genuine transaction, we really hope to get those levels dramatically down, thereby freeing up all kind of resources within the banks to really focus on the real fraud. And that's where we will help the banks not only with the valid positive LID services, but also with the whole escalation services that also use mobile networks. So ultimately it will be a recurring revenue for years to come with a little fee per transaction. That little fee brings quite a lot of value to the banks, but it brings also quite a lot of value to us and our mobile partners.
Stephen van der Velden, CEO of Elephant Talk, joining us at our Wall Street office here in 110 Wall Street, and I'm John Hanna for CDTV.net.